God is God, and we are not. Thanks be to God. I selected the Revelation text this morning, a morning when churches all over Christendom are likely reading the gospel story of Thomas. You remember Thomas, the disciple hiding out in the upper room with the others for fear of the Jews. And yet, it is a Jew named Jesus who will enter the barricaded room on 2 occasions. Oh yes, we remember Thomas. Thomas, who will only believe the resurrection when he can see the marks on Jesus' body for himself. Thomas, who is frightened. Thomas, who feels oppressed. Thomas, who needs reassurance. And the first words Jesus utters to Thomas are peace. Peace be with you. The book of Revelation was written to an oppressed group of people who, like the disciples huddled in the upper room, had experienced a nightmare at the hands of the empire. The book of Revelation was written to 7 churches, a group of people needing the voice of God to speak comfort into their lives. And so the book of Revelation opens, grace to you and peace. When we are frightened, when we feel oppressed, when we need reassurance, what we really need is a reminder of where our peace is located. Because frightened people have a really bad sense of direction. You can be driving on a road you built yourself, but when you introduce fear, you start second-guessing yourself, you start seeing things that aren't there, you start ignoring things that are there, you start whipping yourself up into an absolute frenzy that can look like banning refugees from the country, that can look like vilifying Muslims, that can look like second-class citizenry for LGBTQ folks in the life of the church, no less. And we all get caught up, like the disciples, like the 7 churches John is writing to. We all get caught up, tangled up, and find ourselves in crazy locations, thinking, this will bring me peace. If we can control the borders and keep those people out, there will be peace. If we can take back our country and make it great again, there will be peace. If we can elect the right presidential candidate, lose the weight, get the job, drive the car, have the baby, marry the right person, make the money, control the situation, regain our health, save someone else, there will be peace. Our peace is not in the location or the priorities of the empire. Our peace is in the Jew who finds his way into the barricaded upper room. Our peace is in the Pax Dei. Our peace is in the peace of God. So who is God? Who is God for us? Who is God for you? This is where I'm coming down to talk to you for a little bit. I made my sermon shorter, so you guys, get ready to talk. Most especially, who is God when death kills our dreams or kills the people we love? And who is God when we're hiding out in our fear? Who is God when terrorists strap bombs to kids as young as 7 after they've used them as sexual slaves? Who is God when our bodies won't do what we want them to do, or at the very least do what they should? When people disappoint us and let us down, what then do we say about God? And I'm telling you, when we haven't tried to get a handle on this question, it can really mess us up when the nightmares come. The text says God is the Almighty, the Alpha and the Omega, the one who was and who is to come. So who is God for you? Anyone? Come on.
God is the first breath in the morning after you wake up.
Love it. Thank you. And they don't have to all be positive. It can be whatever you need it to be. I love first breath in the morning, and I believe first breath in the morning.
The part of me that I think God doesn't want is the part that is in his special care.
I love it. The part that God doesn't want is the part that's in God's special care. Like the rap Jim was talking about this morning.
Compassion personified.
God is compassion personified. Amen. Yeah.
He's my best friend.
All right. Mine too.
Best article I've read recently was in the New York Times entitled, "God is a question, not an answer." And in the article, it said that doubt is so important.
Amen. Doubt is so important. Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, God is with me. He's everywhere, any place you go.
Yes.
He's right here watching all the young.
All right. God is everywhere. Amen. Watching all of us. All right, Ellington. Let me get Curtis, and then I'll come and get you.
God is unconditional love.
God is initial love.
Unconditional.
Unconditional love. Amen. That's a microphone.
God is something we all care about.
Yes. Thank you. That's Ellington. How old are you?
9.
9. God is something we all care about. You have a thought? I can come back. Anyone else? Yeah, let's get this side. And then the 2 pages I cut from my sermon are probably up, and I should go back.
God is the dance within all of us.
Yes. God is the dance within all of us.
God is acceptance of yourself, because when you accept yourself, you accept everybody.
Yeah, acceptance of yourself. Wow, you guys are great. I didn't even have to write the rest of the sermon.
God is all the good and true things.
God is all the good and true things. Amen. Thank you.
God is always there.
God is always there. Amen. All right, I'm going to do these last couple, and then I better go. Because we have communion. We don't.
I would say a comforter and a companion.
God is a confident companion.
A comforter.
Comforter.
And companion.
God is a comforter and a companion.
God is perseverance.
God is perseverance. Love it. Okay, my last 3.
God is in my mom and watching over me, taking care of me. Yeah.
That's Malika, and that's her mom, Karen.
God is indigenous peoples who are waiting to give this planet their rebirth.
Amen. And the indigenous people waiting to give the planet their rebirth.
God is the personal conviction to do the right thing, even in those moments where we're weary.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Natalie. You guys are so solid. Deborah, last one.
God is the joy and the strength of my life.
All right. The joy and the strength of my life. Amen. Thank you so much for preaching to me. So it sounds like you would answer in the affirmative the next question I would ask, which is, can you claim God Alpha and Omega during the nightmares? Do you feel God speaking a word of comfort into your life during the nightmares? And the comforting news is, I think, if you can't, the power of this is the power that someone hears God's voice when you cannot. Someone cries for help when you cannot. Someone holds faith for us when we cannot. The beauty of John's letter, as I see it, is it's addressed to 7 churches. 7 churches, 7 communities. 7 is the number that indicates completeness and perfection. It's important to me that the letter is not addressed to one community or to the most famous pastor. It's not a private letter. It's a communal letter. a communal reminder of where peace is located in the midst of nightmarish situations. Our peace is the peace of God, who is the beginning and the end, the A to the Z, the Alpha and the Omega. John's letter says that no one person is the beginning or the end of God's astounding activity in the world. Not any one presidential candidate, not any one church, not any one pastor. Your infuriating or delightful children, your infuriating or delightful partner is not the beginning or the end. Your healthy or unhealthy boss, not the beginning, not the end. Not your professor, not that terrorist, not the driver who cut you off in traffic, not your mom who just died, though her death brings you unbearable pain. Not your doubt, not your joy, not your fear or your hope, not the worst thing you can imagine or the best thing that's ever happened to you. God is God, and we are not. Thanks be to God. John's letter is addressed to none of us specifically, and all of us collectively. The letter answers the question, who is God? God is that which holds all of this, our unemployment and our divorces, our dead and dying loved ones, our fears while we wait to hear, our anger while we try to figure it out, our tears, our helplessness, our mistakes, our regrets, our prayers, our shadow side, and our best selves. God holds all that we hold. All of it. Even the stuff you haven't told your mama, or your bestie, or your partner. Even the stuff you haven't admitted to yourself. God holds all that we hold. And still, none of it is the start and the finish, the beginning and the end. But instead, it's all wrapped inside the start and the finish, the beginning and the end, like a cosmic burrito. And in honor of this sermon, Janae has actually made burritos for Chat and Chew. God's got you covered, all your bits and pieces, and even the parts you don't like the cilantro. If Gloria Moy were here, she hates cilantro. But sometimes there's cilantro in a burrito, and sometimes there's stuff in our life, some of our bits and pieces that we don't like. God's got it all covered. God holds all that we hold. That is God, and God alone. In this resurrection season, when folks are hiding out for fear of all sorts of things, I hope we can still say, if even through gritted teeth, that God is Alpha and Omega. Our beginning and our end. God was and is to come. And we know this because we know in the midst of a broken world, filled with broken people, engaging in imperfect and broken relationships, we know that God's relationship with us is not broken. Thomas will only believe the resurrection when he can see the marks on Jesus' body for himself. Thomas, who is frightened. Thomas, who feels oppressed. Thomas, who needs reassurance. And the first words Jesus utters to Thomas are peace. Peace be with you. God's got you covered. To God be the glory. Amen.